Only in the last month that I found out that the highest retention rate isn't the President's Pack. The highest retention rate actually is the Business Builders Pack. And I didn't know that. In fact, I've never seen Isagenix reveal it before they revealed it in Canada last month.
I would say those people that buy Business Builders Pack are more serious about their investment and about.
They'll go through all of the shapes. They'll go through all the product B and H's essentials.
Yep, two people would for sure. Yep.
Yeah. Which is why, teams like, I think it's the Cepeda team that call it the Ultimate or the Family Pack. And they're encouraging everybody to start with it because of the value. It's the best value if more than one person is going to be munching on it. And, they're doing okay.
I started a couple with a President's Pack thinking to myself, this is not going to be enough for both of them if they're doing it at least 2 shakes a day.
Started is they're afraid of failing. And so when we come back to people, we've got to make sure that our heart back to them isn't argumentative and it isn't defensive. Why? You aren't going to build their belief by beating them in an argument. You're going to build their belief by simply letting your message be, I know you've got concerns, but I know this is going to work for you. I know it's going to work for you. My wife's telling me I can move to the other room. I'm going to do that. Hang on, it'll be a little dark. Oh, it's very dark. Look at that. Ha-ha. And now I come into the light. Dun, dun, dun. Excellent. Now that's a little dim. Is this any better? Yeah, it's a little better. Perfect. So, can we talk about launch parties tonight? Would that be okay? I know we have a Zoom call that most of you guys have the ability to watch that, and maybe even look to at the same time. On our website, theevolvedeconomy.com, www.evolvedeconomy.com, that's our company page. And on there you will see, on our main page, a little picture of a toolbox. And right beside the toolbox is a PDF button for PK's 6 touches in the first 30 days. PK's 6 touches in the first 30 days. Now what this is a simple form that we want you to print off and fill out for every single enrollment. In fact, when you're in the enrolling process, we want you to print this out and keep track of your folks. Now, the reason is we want you to be so proficient at enrolling that it's impossible for you to keep track of all the touches we're going to do without having a form to follow. We don't want you to try to keep this on a calendar or a whiteboard. We'd like you to have a hard copy for every single person that you enroll. Now, at the top of the form, it has name and contact information. What is their health goal that they're wanting to achieve with Isagenix, and then what pack did they join with. So that kind of gives you, at a glance, here's Bob. Bob, I met him here in Arizona, and he wants to lose 35 pounds, and ultimately I enrolled him with a President's Pack. And then below on that form are the 6 touches all laid out on the form so that you can keep track of, oh, look, it's Bob's 5th day of his product experience. I need to jump to the 3rd touch of the 3 touches and have that conversation with him. Now, don't freak out trying to keep track of everything that I say about the individual touches. Just listen to them, because on our YouTube channel, we have all the touch conversations recorded. So if you go to YouTube, just type in PK Smith, you'll see my channel. and subscribe to it. So when we put up new stuff, you'll be aware of it. But on there, all of the touches that are actual conversations are little 1-minute videos we've made for you. So you don't need to write stuff down. You just have to go to YouTube in the moment and go, okay, I'm on the second touch. What's that one? Well, on YouTube, it says second touch, the generous referral bonus. It's a little 1-minute video you listen to, and you know exactly what you're supposed to say to your friend. Now, does that make sense to everybody how simple we've made it? Not if so. Okay. Now, the reason we wanted to make it simple, just like with the script, if you don't have a simple, duplicatable, and followable, even though that's not a word, followable system, you aren't building a business. You just have a job. We don't want Isagenix to be a job. We want it to be a business. So in these two crucial points, how do we enroll people with larger packs? You have a script. You have a video attached to the script. Same thing with the 6 touches. You have a form. They fill out the form. They follow the dates on the forms to remind themselves what each of the touches are. They just go watch a video to remind them what they're supposed to say on each of these days. Why? You have to systematize your business. If you don't systematize it, you can be great at it, but nobody else can be great at it. And if it's all just built on your innate ability to accomplish something, again, it's not duplicatable. You just have a job. This isn't supposed to be a job, and it's not supposed to pay like a job. It's supposed to be a business. It's supposed to pay like a business. So there are 6 touches in all, and they start even before the person enrolls. The first touch is that during the enrolling process, we want to share both an opportunity tool as well as a product tool with the person we're having these enrolling conversations with. Now remember, we embrace that the average gestation period for an enrollment is 4 to 6 touches over 4 to 8 months. There's nothing wrong with your enrolling process because you have to follow up. That's a normal enrollment. Don't think people enroll the first time you talk to them. Why? Personal skepticism. They're afraid. If you're only talking to people once or twice and then giving up, you are leaving about 90% of your enrollments on the tree. You got to learn to circle back. You got to embrace the fact there's a gestation period. And you have to not think you're doing anything wrong because you have to make 6 contacts. That's normal. That's an enrollment. Every woman who's ever had a baby wishes that there wasn't a 3rd trimester. Why? Because it sucks. Now, it doesn't change it. There's still a 3rd trimester, and it sucks. Same thing with Isagenix. 4 to 6 connections. Yes, I wish everybody enrolled the first time I mentioned it to them. But I also wish I was 7 feet tall and played in the NBA. Not happening either. 4 to 6 connections over 4 to 8 months. And during that enrolling process, we always want to use tools because if all of our explanations come out of our mouth and our brain, we just convince that new associate that they can't do this business because they can't possibly memorize all the stuff you crammed in your head. So you use the tools. Our favorite opportunity tools are the Start Your Life Now video. Go to startyourlife.com, that opening video montage. Love it. I wish there was one for people with gray beards. My kids are in the START program, so I'm not in the START program. I wish we had one that showed in that simple, really pure montage that they have with startyourlife.com for people who don't have hair and have gray in their beard. But they don't yet. The other one we like is the Isagenix difference. Again, only about 6 minutes long, not an instructional video, just an inspirational video. Now, one of the reasons we like it is because on it, Dr. Rick Lee clearly states that he's an Isagenix millionaire and a practicing chiropractor. He didn't give up his chiropractic business just because he has a multiple 6-figure Isagenix business. Why? Because we don't want people to think they have to choose between their career or their calling and Isagenix. Isagenix is a revenue stream. Some people do it full time, many people don't. You don't have to walk away from your career to be successful in Isagenix. It just isn't true. Why? Because many people love their career. Many people feel called to do what they do. We don't need to challenge that in order to offer Isagenix to them. So that's the first touch. We offer them an opportunity tool as well as a product tool during the enrolling process. Touch number 2 is the same day that we enroll people, we want to share with them the concept that Isagenix has a very generous referral bonus system. Now, this is on our YouTube channel. It's called Touch Number 2, the Generous Referral Bonus System, and it sounds like this. So you've just got started with a President's Pack. Well, Isagenix has a very generous referral bonus system. We know in companies, say like Amazon, the number one contributing factor for why a customer picks a particular product is a positive review from a fellow customer. Well, unlike Amazon, Isagenix will actually reimburse you for a positive referral. So let's say 2 of your friends decide to join you here in the first week with the same pack you came in with. You would get $420 in referral bonus money. And if 3 of your friends came in with the same pack, you'd get $634 in referral bonus money. Your pack would be free. Now, you may wonder where that money comes from. We don't have an ad on TV. We don't put our products on the shelf at Walmart. And there's no stadium in the world that says Isagenix on the side of it. Instead, we share that money with people who give positive referrals. And that's it. A simple explanation. What would happen if 2 people came? What would happen if 3 came? Now, let's explain the numbers a little. If 2 people came in with President's Packs, you would get $320 in double PIBs, 160 plus 160. Plus, you'd get $50 for becoming a consultant. Now, we would like you to offer everyone that Crystal Consultant bonus, which simply is if someone becomes a consultant in the first 7 days, you match the bonus that Isagenix offers from the $100 that Isagenix pays you for making the consultant. Why? Because it works. Now, we also want to share with them what happens if 3 people join. Why? Well, in the President's Pack and the Pacesetter Pack, if 3 of their friends join with the same pack, their pack is free. I'm cheap. If something's free, I'm going to tell you. How? 160 plus 160 plus 160 is $480 in double PIBs, plus $50 for going consultant, $50 for going Crystal Consultant, and $54 because you would cycle your first week because of the size of the President's Pack's BV. Now, the real reason we tell them is the same reason the product line description works. People tend to pick the compromise, not the top, the next one down. So if you tell people to get 2, they get 1. So we tell them to get 3, so they'll get 2. Now you're thinking, PK, it isn't that simple. It actually is. It actually is. You will see more people go consultant if you tell them about 3, not just 2. It's that simple. So the numbers you need to know are what happens if 2 people join and what happens if 3 people join. We already told you with the President's Pack, the numbers are 420 of 2, 634 of 3. With the Pacesetter Pack, if 2 people join the first week, you'd get $300 back. And if 3 people join the first week, you'd get $400 back. Your pack is free. With the 30-day, if 2 people join, you get $200 back. And if 3 people join, you get $250 back. It's not quite free, but it's close. All you have to know is what are the sets of numbers I have to know based on what pack max they start with. It's that simple. What happens if 2 people join? What happens if 3 people join? Love this. Okay, thought that was the question. Sorry, I read it. Now, we know that most people, over 90%, their response to the generous referral bonus offer is going to be this sentence: I don't want to share this with anyone else until I know it works for me. Have any of you ever heard that sentence before? Yes. In fact, if you've never heard that sentence, there's a good chance that you've never enrolled anybody. Wally, did you say you need to go over those numbers again?
Yeah, and I could probably do that. I wasn't telling you that. I was just telling like maybe Trish or Andrea.
Okay. Tricia just says she's got a graph that shows it all.
Right. And I was just writing to them, so we can go on with what you're doing.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving anybody behind. That's all.
Yeah, they're also in the notes that Tricia emailed us.
Say again?
Yes.
They're also in the notes that Tricia emailed over to us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in that little handbook, earner to owner, in there too. Yep.
All right.
We try to back it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a visual person. I have to look at them. Take a look at it.
No worries. Trisha's got a graph for you. You'll be able to see it all because she's a rock star. Now, when someone says, I don't want to share this with anyone until I know it works for me, we actually plan on them saying that. So the third touch, which we call the day 5 miracle phone call, is in response to that statement. And it sounds like this: I completely agree. You shouldn't share it unless you know it works. But here's the great news. I happen to know you're going to have measurable results by the 5th day of your nutritional experience. So much so that I'd like to make a date to talk to you on your 5th day, just so I can hear all the things that have changed in 5 short days. So you guys tell me, if you called someone on the 5th day of their product experience, what might they tell you has already happened to them?
They would probably say they're feeling more energetic, maybe sleeping a little better.
Yes, energy and sleeping better. Very common ones. Absolutely. Anything else?
They're glowing, their skin color, their eye color.
Absolutely. Got a little glow on. Yes. If they're a man,
20 pounds.
they've already done what? They've already lost 40 pounds and their wife has put them on the couch because she hates them. Right? Because the wife doesn't lose pounds, she loses inches. Right? But because we're men, we feel we have to share things like, oh, honey, you've lost 2 pounds. Good for you. I've lost 2 pounds while I've just been talking to you. That's why I say when couples do this together, never leave sharp implements beside the bed, because you're going to want to stab your husband at 2 a.m. when you remember that snide look on his face when he mentions that he's lost 40,000 pounds by the 5th day. But that's okay. A little marriage counseling in there. It'll work. It'll be fine. Now, when someone gives you the list, you say to them, and this is on the video, you know, a few days ago, I was mentioning that generous referral bonus, and you didn't really want to share this unless you knew it worked. And I didn't want you to share it unless you knew it worked. But you know what? I think you know it works. So why don't we talk to 3 or 4 of your friends and just tell them how great you feel and see if they don't want to enjoy the same results you're enjoying. Now, a little caveat. Between touch 2 and touch 3, you must get this new associate on a welcoming 3-way call with another member of the team. Not an upline, not an expert. We're not looking for uplines or experts. We're looking for anyone who has anything in common with this new associate. Now, the reason is, if you can introduce this new associate to another member of the team who has something in common, it will reduce their cynicism and skepticism. Because we like people who are like us. So I would call up Julie and say, hey, Julie, I know your box is on the way, and we're super excited about you starting your nutritional superfood adventure. You know what? I've got my friend Karen on the other line. She's a school teacher in your school district, and she had an amazing product experience in her first 30 days. Would you mind if I three-wayed her onto this call and she just shared her 30-second story with you? And Julie says, sure. Karen comes on and they nerd out about being teachers for a couple minutes. And then Karen shares her 30-second story. I say, congratulations, fist bump, high five, and we get off the phone. Now, the reason this is important is on day 5 of the product experience, you're going to ask Julie to introduce you to a couple of her friends. If you haven't introduced Julie to any of your friends, there's not much of a chance that she's going to do it. It's why what we call a peer-to-peer-to-peer three-way call has to happen between the enrolling date and this day 5 miracle phone call. We must show her there are people just like her succeeding, and that it's not weird to introduce your friends with a simple three-way call. When people tell me they've got a low conversion rate to consultant, the first question I ask is, do you always welcome your new associates within the first few days by introducing them to someone who is similar to the team, just with a congratulatory welcome call? And most times the answer is no. And they can't figure out why the idea of using a three-way call by day 5 is so foreign. Because you didn't unweird it by introducing them yourself. Now, this doesn't have to be challenging, guys. Your goal for a welcome call is that it's over in under 5 minutes, on and off. But if you'll take the time to introduce people to other members of the team who are similar, it raises the trust factor. Now, this just happened recently. I was teaching this live somewhere, and someone said, I just did this with John Anderson. I said, tell me the story. She says, well, I had this guy who was a big nutritionist dude, and he had all these scientific questions I didn't know the answers to. And I know John, so I asked him if he'd jump on our three-way call. So she says, I made the mistake. I introduced John as he was just barely not Jesus. And partway through, John says, okay, enough about me. Hey, Bob, you tell me something about you. And the first words out of Bob's mouth were, well, I collect old motorcycles. Well, if you know John, talking about old bikes or cars is way more interesting than Isagenix to him. So in the next 19 minutes, these two gearheads talk about their collection, and they don't talk about Isagenix. And then John sees the clock and goes, Bob, I'm so sorry, I got to go, and I didn't answer any of your questions. I blew it. And Bob said, no, I'm good. I'm joining. I'm fine. Why? I know the formulator is a gearhead like me. I'm good. Really? Really? Remember, guys, most of people's skepticism is masked by their intellectual questions. But the real skepticism is more emotionally driven. And we assist people with their emotional skepticism by showing them people who are similar to them, who are showing success. It isn't the information, it's the relationship. Don't download data for people. Don't argue with statistics and all that stuff. Show them someone who's like them, who's enjoyed a great product experience, and the trust factor goes up and the cynicism goes down. Why? This is a much more emotionally driven decision than it is intellectual. People mask it with their intellectual questions, but the reality is we're emotional beings. And when we make the emotional connection, I simplify it to this. If you'll establish the who, the what becomes really simple. Establish who's on the call, and they won't have as many questions. Make it relatable. Now, The other thing is, the reason we have this conversation on day 5 about their initial experience is that in the second week, they might have a longer list of personal results, but they will have begun to forget day 1. Now, it's impossible to forget day 1 on day 5. It's not the list that causes the elation. It's the contrast between 1 and 5 that causes the elation. And that overcomes the reluctance of sharing this with their friends. This conversation has to happen on day 5. Otherwise, people begin to suffer from what I call Isagenix amnesia. And that's where they're forgetting that Isagenix is the reason for the product experience. I don't know if you've ever had this before. I've had people after a month say, you know what, I'm not sure it was Isagenix. I think it was the fact that I went to the gym. Dude, you joined the gym. You didn't go to the gym. Come on. The sneakers are still in the box. Shut up. Now, when people say that, you want to punch them in the throat. Don't do that, because that's bad for business. Punching in the throat is bad. Though you want to, it's still bad. So have this conversation on day 5, not on day 14. Now, skip ahead. We've done half of the 6 touches. Half of them are in the first third of the month. Why? We want to give our associate every chance to get all the way to consultant in the first month so that we apply the same 6 touches to their 2 associates in the second month so that they get to Crystal Manager. Don't expect that your new consultant is going to know how to do this. Don't leave them alone. Keep contact with them because you want to get them all the way to Crystal Manager, not just consultant. Now, if you had a piece of paper in front of you, I'd want you to draw a line right here in the middle, because after day 5 and after the 3rd touch, we change our approach. Because touches 4, 5, and 6, we don't talk about getting their initial order paid for. We only talk about getting their auto ship and their second month paid for. And the reason is simple. By day 14 of their product experience, it has been anywhere from 17 to 20 days since they put that order in their credit card. And they've had a paycheck or 2 in that time. And that has reduced the motivation of getting Isagenix to pay for that initial order. That's why 4, 5, and 6, day 14 on, we only talk about getting their auto ship order paid for and getting their second month for free. If you're finding the offer of getting their initial order paid for falling on deaf ears in the second half of the month, it's because you've missed out on this strategy. You're talking about something that's already completely or partially paid for, so of course they're not listening. Second half of the month, we only talk auto ship, we only talk the second month. So touch number 14 is my favorite. And it is the day 14 compliment call. It's my favorite because it's important for the business, but it's also important for their product transformation. Touch 4, the day 14 compliment call. And on that day, we'd contact our associate and say, hey, you look great. You must feel great. Somebody must be noticing. Tell me a great compliment you've received lately from a friend, a family member, or a coworker. Now, if someone has a negative body self-image, they will falsely assume that everyone by day 14 will have said, you've lost weight, you've lost weight, you've lost weight. When in fact, nobody wants to say you lost weight. Why are people afraid of telling you it looks like you lost weight?
It implies you needed to lose weight.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have friends who would say, hey, 2 weeks ago you had 3 chins. Now you've only got 2. High five. Hopefully you don't have friends like that because they suck, right? Now they do want to say something, but there are code compliments, which mean I noticed, but I'm not saying it's a weight thing. What's a code compliment for I noticed, but I'm not going to say wait.
Your hair looks good.
Now, you just took the guy's one.
Your skin looks great.
Yeah, you can say skin. Guys only say one thing. Did you change your hair? That's right, Andrea. Guys only say that because we can't get in trouble for that, right? Everything else we can get in trouble for. Now, the skin one, I had a mentee who had a coworker who said this. He walked up to her at a coffee break and said, "Are you pregnant?" And she said, "No, I'm not pregnant." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm really sure." You know, sometimes you don't know. Dude, you got to stop. One more of those, you're going to HR. You can't do this. Well, are you sure you're not pregnant? Look, you got to stop looking at me and ask me if I'm pregnant. And he says, "I'm only looking at your face." "Oh, so my face is pregnant." No. My wife's had 3 babies, and every time she was pregnant, she had that glow you've got. Your face is glowing. And because he's a jackass, he said, "Are you sure you're not pregnant?" And she said, "Dave, thanks for the compliment. I'm not pregnant. And by the way, you suck at compliments." It's my favorite story. So there's code compliment. The other one is that a new outfit? That looks great. What's different about that? They're trying to give the compliment without saying the wait thing. Now, pause for a second. Why is this important? This is important because when you have a product transformation, oftentimes the last part of your body to be informed is your mind and your self-image. I think of my little girl, Katie, and her senior year in high school. She decided to get serious about her health, and over a year's time, she released 55 pounds. And as soon as she started Isogenics, we threw out the scale because we did not want a teenager to be looking at a number as if a number mattered. But for years after she'd released the weight, I would catch her pulling her t-shirt out from her stomach. And I would say, "Honey, there's nothing there. What are you doing?" She said, "I know, Dad, but in my mind it's still there." "But honey, you've had a transformation." "I know, Dad. My body has had a transformation, but my mind hasn't. I still carry that weight in my head. So yes, I self-consciously pull out my t-shirt. It'll go away, Dad." And it would make me sad that she couldn't see what I saw. Now today, she'll be 25 in May. She's as fit as you can possibly be. She's a strong horse trainer. In fact, today she actually tested her strength because she was opening a gate on the farm, left the mule Kubota in gear, as we do, and as she got in front of the Kubota, the dog that was on the seat beside her jumped down and landed on the accelerator and pinned my daughter against the gate with a Kubota. Kubota is like a mule, like an all-around ATV kind of vehicle. And the only thing that saved her was it hit her so hard it broke the fence. Otherwise, she would have been pinned there. So she went to the hospital today, and she was on morphine today because of the accident. No broken bones, no internal injuries that they know of, but you got to be pretty fit to take on a machine and walk away from it. But it took her years, not months, years for her mind to catch up to the transformation that her body went through. This compliment call is a major stepping stone for someone appreciating that other people notice, and this is a good thing. Remember, 60% of the equation that leads to a successful product transformation isn't in the box. It's their relationship with you. Treat the relationship sacredly. Someone has entrusted you with their health goals. And some of those health goals are really scary for them. Treat it seriously. Treat it sacredly. It really matters that they begin to see the approval of you and of others in order for the transformation to get all the way up here. Sorry, makes me cry. Also, when we have the compliment call and they realize that other people are noticing, we can say, you know what, why don't we talk to 3 or 4 of your friends? Maybe even some of these folks that are giving out compliments. Some of those compliments are their way of saying, hey, can you hook a sister up? How are you doing what you're doing? I would love to experience what you're experiencing. That way, we could get your auto ship order completely paid for before it's ever even processed. And that would mean your second month of nutritional superfoods would be completely free. Wouldn't cost you a cent. That is the day 14 compliment call, my favorite. Skip ahead to day 20. Now, day 20 is the result of the coaching bonus that Isagenix is offering right now. And on day 20, we do 3 things. Number 1, we review their progress so far. They're 20 days into their product experience. We want to know how close they are to their goal. Now, remember, at the top of this form, we had written down name, contact information, their health goal, and the pack they started with. So when they tell you how far they've gotten by day 20, you can do number 2. You can establish their second month's health goal. Now, if your retention rate sucks, I only have one question. Do you establish second month health goals? Or are you too busy with your next enrollment to not stay connected to their health goals? Someone trusted you with their health goal. Very few people reach that goal in 30 days. It's your job to have this conversation on day 20 and establish what are we going to get done the second month. Why? Because most people walked into the woods in 5, 10, 20 years of not taking care of themselves the best they can. They're not walking out of the woods in 30 days. Plan for this to be a long-term experience. Establish the second month health goal. And then number 3, show them the value of a pack to let them reach that second month health goal. It's always a better value to have a pack as an auto ship than purchasing a la carte. You always get more product in the packs. Now, the coaching bonus isn't a $25 coaching bonus. It's $25 if their auto ship is a 30-day. It's $50 if their auto ship is a Pacesetter pack. It's $80 if their auto ship order is a President's pack. And it's $150 if their auto ship is a Business Builders pack. So it's really a good thing to have this conversation. So it would sound like this. Call up Bob. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Hey, I'm Complete Rockstar PK. I'm doing fantastic. So tell me what, Bob, I just want to know, we're on day 20. How far have you got towards your goal in 20 days? Well, PK, as you know, I'm a rock star. I've already taken off 12 pounds. Wow, you are a rock star, Bob. Fantastic. Now, when I look at my little form here, you wanted to take off 35 pounds. Yep, 35 pounds. I got down 12, 23 to go. Fantastic. So what do you say, Bob, the second month we establish we're going to take off another 15? 15 would be great. I'd almost be there because I'm a rock star. Yeah, I know that, Bob. You told me. So, Bob, you started off, I see here, with a President's pack. Are you wanting to keep up with all 3 systems your second month because you had such great results? And it's either a yes or a no. If it's a no, then we drop down to the 2 systems. Well, if you want, we could drop down to a Pacesetter pack with the 2 systems in it. So you'd have your snacks and your meals provided. Or you'll drop down to the 30-day. Always take them back to the pack they started with. Don't assume they want to erase what they started with. That's not a good assumption. The packs are valuable. $5.59 President's pack has over $700 worth of product. $3.99 Pacesetter pack has over $400 worth of product in it. Sorry, over $500 worth of product in it. The value are in the packs. That's the only reason for having this call. It's the best value for them to purchase in pack portions. So 3 steps. Review the blender. It stops them every time. You don't pay for the blender. The blender's free. All you've got to do is add up what's in the Pace Setter pack or the President's pack. The blender's free. They don't want more than one. Excellent. So you tell them, when you're sharing the shakes with anyone, take a sack of the shake, put it inside one of those spare blenders, and give it to your friend. Hey, look, you can try it, and there's a free blender that comes with it. Simple. There are people that's some kind of a bounce for them. Their spouse needs one for work. Absolutely. Not only that, those little suckers break. You want spares. Absolutely. Absolutely. So those are the 3 steps. Review the progress, establish a second month health goal, and then finally show the value of a pack to reach the goal. One last one. Touch number 6 is on day 30. And it's going to sound redundant, and it is on purpose. There's 3 steps to this one too. Step number 1, review how much ISA product they've got left. Tomorrow is the first day of their second month. They already have their auto ship order in, so they've either eaten all of their first month stuff and already started to munch on their auto ship, or they've got plenty. You don't know. Don't assume that you know, and also don't assume someone in their family isn't eating their stash. So review what they've got for product. Number 2, remind them of their second month health goal, and they either have enough or they don't, and if they don't, recommend a mid-month order. So let's talk to Bob again. So we call Bob again. So Bob, you're starting your second month tomorrow. Yes, I'm a rock star. I'm going for 15 pounds. Yes, we know you're a rock star, Bob. Just want to know, how many shakes do you have in the house? What do you mean? How many canisters or boxes of shakes do you have as you start your second month? Well, I got plenty, PK. I've got 2 canisters. Oh, you got 2 canisters of shakes. Way to go. Excellent. So just remind me again, did you say you wanted to release 15 pounds your second month? Yep. I took off over 15 my first month. Now I'm going to take off 15 this month. Excellent. So are you going to do that at 2 shakes a day? Yep, 2 shakes a day, just like I did the first month. Okay, good news, bad news, Bob. You're doing great, as again, you're a rock star, and you're going to run out of shakes in 14 days. What? 2 shakes a day, you go through a canister a week. You're out in 2 weeks. You started last month with 4 canisters, not 2. Are you sure? Yes, Bob, I can count. You're going to run out in 14 days. You need to order in 9. Oh. So be prepared to order more shakes in 9 days. So why don't we talk to 3 or 4 of your friends and see if they don't want to join you in your second month. That ways we can go backwards, pay for the auto ship order that, by the way, you've already started to eat, and go forward and pay for this mid-month order you're going to need or you're going to run out. That way your second month is completely free. Now, the reason we do this is if Bob runs out on day 14 and he orders and it takes 2 or 3 days to get to his house, Bob goes back to old eating habits for 2 or 3 days. And Bob begins to bankrupt some of those 15 pounds he took off the first month. It's the stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting over something as stupid as you ran out of product. That doesn't need to happen. Now you think, yeah, but I had this conversation about auto ship on day 20. Oh, and all of your associates do exactly what you recommend doing. Wow, that must be nice. Doesn't work that way. They don't listen all the time. Why? How do we know? Because the average auto ship is still around $200. Still the average auto ship, guys. If people are still pulling towards a health goal, they don't have enough product. Wifey or husband is having the odd shake, they don't have enough product. This is a simple phone call to have. Just make sure they're prepared for the second month. 5-minute phone call. Simple. And another chance to show them the value of sharing this with 3 or 4 of their friends. So that is the 6 touches in the first 30 days. Who has any questions about all the stuff I just threw at you in the last hour? Any questions?
Are these,
PK?
do you have a video of the 6 touches, PK, on YouTube?
Yeah, there's a video for touches 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all individual videos.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you don't need to memorize any of this. On the day of the touch, just go to the YouTube video, look for touch 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, whichever one you're doing. There's no video for touch 1 because there's no conversation for touch 1.
It's just the video, just the trails.
Yeah, so if you wanted to, Tricia, you could just take them off the YouTube thing and put them on the page.
Beautiful.
Yep, and they're listed by touches. They're called touch 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Awesome.
PK, one question I have. I know the value in someone enrolling as an associate, but I have had numerous people like, let me just be a preferred customer for the first month and see how it works out. And then we'll talk about how can you gently move them into associate with AutoShip, encourage that route versus the preferred customer.
The reason people are afraid of AutoShip is they're old enough to remember the Columbia Record Club. And that you didn't want to get anything delivered to your house because it was a scam. So we always stress that AutoShip is only about convenience. Isagenix always has an ability to stop anything at any moment, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. So their best value and odds to reaching their goals are setting themselves up for long-term success immediately. And that's the approach that we suggest you take. But that's what's in their head. AutoShip is some scam like the Columbia Record Club where, hey, I got 10 records for 99 cents, but then I couldn't get out of the contract. And I ended up with, stuff I didn't want that cost a lot of money. So there's a fear that there's some kind of a hook here. Focus on this is only about convenience and staying connected to your health goals. That'll help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, guys? No? Okay. So again, just to remind you, the form is on evolvedeconomy.com. The 1-hour training from One Team University is on evolvedeconomy.com. And all of the conversation touches are on PK Smith on YouTube. And I think Trisha's going to put them on your team page so you'll know where to look for them in the moment. Okay?
Thank you.
There you go, guys.
Okay.
You guys rock. We'll be cheering you on for the next week.
Thanks, PK.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you, PK.